Hello, everyone.
Howdy.
Welcome to the stream. We have special guest Chelsea Steenfott today with us, so I'm super
Hello.
excited about that.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yes, of
excited as
course.
well. Happy for you guys.
So we usually start with like a highs and lows in our fish room. So Jodi, do you want to go first? If you're there. We froze.
Jodi, either Jodi's like super still or it's a problem. There we go. Wait. Oh
no.
Almost. That's a lovely picture though. Like that looks
nice.
great.
I love the 2:30 in the background. That's probably my favorite. It looks so good.
Yeah, that is really nice.
All right. Well, I suppose, Jodi, can you hear us? Maybe not.
Perhaps technical difficulties. Oh, there we go. It starts to go again and then stops. It's very, but you're moving now. I don't know.
Yeah. Oh goodness, technical difficulties abound.
I told you it's always sound.
It's always something.
Always the culprit.
Oh wait, you're back. Maybe.
Steven says crank up my audio.
Yeah, you're really quiet.
Yeah. Okay, so at least it's not me.
All right. Well, I'll back out and come back.
Well, okay. Sounds good. All right. While she does that, I will go ahead and start with my highs and lows. Unfortunately, I had quite a few lows this week.
No.
Yeah. So I guess starting off, I told everyone last week that I finally had Mellis fry, the Suna McGill Mellis.
Yeah.
I'm like 90% sure I murdered them on accident.
That happens, sadly.
Yeah, it's not my finest work. And also it's probably like my first really like finicky fish, I think, that I've tried to breed. So like it took me forever to get the eggs, and then now getting the fry to like a livable stage is proving very difficult. So I feel kind of like a fish murderer, but like,
no,
what are you gonna do?
No, you're not a fish murderer. That's you should be happy. Like, honestly, the way to look at that's a huge win to get a trickier species to spawn for you. So at least you check that. You know you can do it again. If you've done it once, you can do it again. So
yeah,
look at it like. But yeah, I have done that before, and I've pissed myself off many times doing stuff like that.
It's so frustrating. Like, come on, just work.
Just survive. How hard is it? It's not that tough of a world. Like, come on.
You
have someone babying you the whole way along too. Like,
yeah. God. All right, Jodi, say something. Are you there? We have you.
I see you.
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh no, your mouth is moving, but no words.
Man, I've also got baby quail in the background. I've got all kinds of sounds back here.
Oh, I love little baby quail.
They're so tiny. They're so tiny, and for how tiny they're incredibly loud. Very loud.
Oh. Kind of like babies. Like I had my first baby like meet and greet yesterday with my best friend's tiny human, and it went well. It was just a lot, and like I was trying to be so like, I guess, safe and conservative, and like my friend is just like just tosses her around like it's fine. It's just like they're not breakable, but for me, I'm like.
That's how I was with babies forever. Yeah. Like I was and I actually helped my best friend with her baby a lot. And so, but I still was so paranoid. But when you finally get your own baby, you're like, you're fine.
It'll be fine.
You should have seen the nurses like beating on her to get her to burp in the hospital. I'm like, all right, if that's what we're smacking the hell out of our kids, then fine. I can do that. Like that's easy enough. Fine. And sure enough, they burp every time.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Oh man. Well, but that was an experience.
Yeah, it's a lot. Like kids, I was never a huge fan of children until I had my own. Like I'm not one of those people that's like gravitates towards babies, or like now that I have one and people walk up to me all the time and want to see her, I'm like, I never would have done that. Like I could care less about that.
I've been like, I would have observed from afar. Like
from afar.
You have a baby, that's great for you. Love that.
Cool for you. Yeah. Way to have your baby out in public. Yeah. Totally. Well, I guess since there are some technical difficulties for her, I can share mine.
Oh yeah,
I I don't think I really have a specific low. It's just the low of ignoring your fish room for 6 months. That's the low.
Yeah. So there's like lots of maintenance type things.
Yes, there's a lot of maintenance going on. There's a lot of blowing tanks up and starting over, literally dumping tanks and like hosing them out and just starting from scratch, which comes with its own annoying issues like algae blooms and green water and all kinds of fun stuff. But it's also very rewarding at the same time to rescape, redo, reimagine all of the tanks that we get to blow up. So that's my high and my low. All the mess.
Like, it sounds like you look at it like an opportunity instead of like, shit, I've got to do all these things all over again, like, and go through all the brown algae and then get that fixed up, and then the green water hits and you're like, but the
green water is where we're at right now with several tanks, including our 125. And having a 125
full of green water. That's
the 125 full of green, which the fish, of course, are like, cool. Like, don't bother me. I'm here, but don't bother me. And they don't care. But I am so annoyed by it. And I used to actually run UV sterilizers on any tank I ever got green water in. That was probably the only fish related thing that I ever bought specifically, because I'm so I want to say I'm old school with like, I don't use a lot of gadgets. I don't have a lot of stuff in the fish room that I buy to help me with things. But that UV sterilizer can be real nice for green water. I will tell you, if anybody struggles and blacking your tank out for like a week does nothing, UV sterilization can help immensely. So there we go.
Jodi, round 3. How are we doing? I got nothing. No sound.
So bizarre, of course.
I'm great at lip reading.
I was gonna say I'm trying really hard just to pick up on like facial cues here. It's a lovely tank in the background, though, I will say. It's very nice.
As she covers it up.
That's funny.
But I actually keep a UV sterilizer in my 65 discus tank. I've got a 5 discus in there, which leads me to my next question.
I knew this was coming. That's funny.
What the hell is your deal with discus? And like, why are you such a discus hater? That's my main question. Too. I don't mean to start off on a negative foot, but like,
no, let's get it right out there. I was actually talking about, I asked him, I was like, why do I hate discus? I haven't perused that in a while. Let me just go through the reasons. And what it is for me is that most discus tanks are so repetitive. Like you have, the what's it called? You have the rams and you have either the rummy nose or the what's it called? And I'm like, get something different in there with them. I will say this, Candy has wild discus.
Oh, that's
and they're
cool.
And I really, the wild coloration where there's no, like I don't like marbles. I don't like the ones that are like really colorful. I like the more natural looking ones, I guess. So I can appreciate them being pretty fish. But I also don't necessarily love fish that are that finicky because I'm used to cichlids, and cichlids are like the ones that I kept, a lot of Acara. The one time I heard somebody say electric blue Acara were sensitive, I was like, you have to try to kill those fish. You have to hate them and go out of your way to try and kill them. And I really like fish like that because I get so emotional when I lose fish. So I think I don't want to set myself up for failure. And I've done that with several species. And I feel like discus would be one of those where if one thing went wrong, it can be pretty catastrophic for a discus tank. But they're really pretty. Like I like them a lot more than African cichlids. I can tell you that. I have no mercy for African cichlids. Does that include
West Africans though? Because you go on and on and on about your West Africans.
We'll sing their praises until someone tells me to shut up, and I probably still would keep going. No, I love West Africans, but something about it's the behavior of like Rift Lake cichlids. I just can't handle. It's not aggression. It's just fast movement, lots of things going on, and bright colors. I feel like I'm gonna have a seizure or something. I'm like, calm down. Just sit there and calm down. I like fish that just stare back at me. Or stare at things and focus on things. And African cichlids can't slow down enough to focus on anything. So, but back to the discus thing. It's not so much the discus, it's the repetition of the tanks that they're kept in.
Okay,
that really annoys the hell out of me.
Maybe you might like my tank then. I've been like waiting for it to kind of fill in and grow. But it's planted and it's got like manzanita coming down. I kind of agree with you on the repetitive look of discus tanks because they're just so like there's one big log in the middle and then they've got some rocks and that's nice. If they have plants, what the hell? Like nobody ever sees that. But because it's too hot for plants. And so I tried to get some that were like heat tolerant, mostly swords, but like there's some crypts in there and they're doing okay. But
they do okay? That's good.
Yeah. So like I really eventually want to put CO2 in that tank because I think it'll help the plants kind of fill in a little bit better. Kind of make, the limiting factor a little bit, less, like take away negative. But you might like them, maybe.
I love manzanita. The manzanita is one of my favorites. I like it both ways too, with the bark and without. I love a good manzanita that still has that pretty red bark. I think that can be really striking in an aquascape. But that is nice to hear plants with discus because, a lot of times, like I said, just the same tank over and over and over. And I'm like, come on.
And like, I'm guilty. Like I almost put rams in there too, but I ended up putting some McMaster Iapistos in there.
Oh,
and they're doing really well.
Good. That's a good choice.
Yeah, they all kind of quarantined together, and like I felt really guilty because like it seemed like they got along really well, and I was like, but I don't want to break them up. Like it's like they found their like perfect little roommates, and why would I do that to them?
If it works, leave it. Like if you find fish that work, well, I love your cat walking in the background, Jodi.
I know
his tail was just like flicking.
You have sound.
Yeah, you look. That looks really good. Like you, you look nice and clear. I don't know how you sound, but
well, I don't know. You tell me.
It's a little muffled, but you're there.
So yeah, we're here.
That's cool. That's better than last time.
Yes, there we go.
Oh, man.
Well, yeah, there's my beef with discus. I knew that was coming, so I'm glad we got that out of the way early.
Gosh.
It's no beef against discus personal. Like I have no problem with the fish.
It's not personal. I just hate you.
Yeah. Nothing personal, but get away from me. I would never want you in my life. No, that's just African cichlids. I think that's the only fish that I'm like, that's a hard no. It's always a no. Like there could be a time when I end up with a discus. Who knows what happens in life? Who knows?
You never know.
Get sick of everything else and go back around to that. So it's possible.
Yeah. But all right, Jodi, it is your time to shine. Do you want to go where low? Yep.
Yeah, this week there wasn't really a low in the fish room per se. Highs, I guess I'll be not this week, but I did win some. I'm sorry, I won raffles this week.
Ooh.
But I'll be getting the fish next week.
Okay, I think that's a win. I'll count it. I'll allow it.
I'll take it.
That's exciting. Getting fish is the most exciting thing. Yeah, that is a win.
I like
the anticipation counts, I guess.
Yeah, I got the CW38s. I ended up getting some black schultzite to go along with it.
Nice.
And I also won some stir-bys and albino stir-bys.
Oh my God.
And an FX6 filter.
I loved my albino stir-bys. I talk about those nonstop. I still wish I had them. I think I might have brought, I think I had 2 remaining because I had them for years. And when I moved to Washington, I brought a couple and then they were, they aged out. But those are some of the, I hate albino fish, but I love albino stir-by. Like, I know, right? Just let's get all of the fish out of the way that I hate. Not a big albino fan, but their fins are just such a cool color. They're really pretty.
I'm not a big albino fish fan, but I have some albino Aeneas that I really love. They're long fin.
Yeah.
They look like little angels.
It's definitely a per fish thing for me, like albino, because the albino threadfin is one of the most beautiful fish I've ever seen in my life. So
it really is. I went and stared at it for a while after you mentioned that the one night.
They're so pretty, so pretty.
Have you seen the albino pygmy cories? They're adorable, and I
don't think I've seen those.
Although they don't have like the typical red eyes that like an albino fish would have. They look kind of like dark grayish, I guess. But when you see like a bunch of tiny little specks, if you have a bunch of them together in a tank and they're all just like doing their thing, they look really cool. So
I can see that. I don't love the red eyes. That's usually what kind of deters me from albino stuff. Like I like leucistic. Leucistic things are very cool.
Great.
Yeah. But albino, it's like, okay, calm down. It's a little red for me. I don't know.
Oh, Jodi, did you get to talk to Grant Eater about your albino shrimp?
So I brought it up on stream.
Alleged albino.
Yeah, we're gonna just go with alleged for now. He needs a better picture, but lo and behold, I can't find it to take a picture.
Oh,
of course, with the color, how are you going to find
sure
it? I mean, it blends right in.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see if I can get a better picture. It would. But yeah, he said he definitely needs a better picture with the quality that it was. He'd say no, it wasn't, but maybe with a better picture, you could see the red eyes better because you could see him in person.
That's a hard thing to capture on camera, I feel.
It is.
With a shrimp like that small, and that's tough.
Small and like generally lower light because they're at the bottom of the tank. So that's always really difficult. So I get it. But I've got my fingers crossed because that would be really freaking cool.
That would be. I've been searching for it every day since and haven't seen it. But there's like this giant moss clump in the back. So a lot of it hides under that. And when I say moss, I meant algae.
Well,
moss, algae, same thing. Yeah. But all right. So my next question for Chelsea, I'm super excited about this one because I was typing out an email and I was like, you know what? I need to know this. So because you haven't brought it up yet, I'll take the hit for it. But Sacramento proper, if it were a tank, what would it look like and what would it have in it?
So I would say this is very luckily for me, this is actually an honest answer, but it just kind of fits into my whole thing. Like West African fish, there is such a diversity and there's so many different types in one place and they all kind of come from different parts of the river system and like intertwine and mix and pass through one another's territories. Yeah. That would sum up Sacramento. Sacramento is a melting pot. When I moved to Washington, I remember saying to Bob, and I still to this day say, why are there so many Washington license plates here? And he looks at me like I'm an idiot. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, no. When you're in Sacramento, like everybody is from somewhere else. I know very few people that were actually born and raised in Sacramento. I was one of 2 people in my entire office of 60 people that were born and raised in Sacramento. So it was crazy to me because I'm like, this is really representative of the city on the whole. And much like the Bay Area, because it's kind of a melting pot there, it's just so many different people. And that is like a West African community. Like you can have giant catfish that are 4 feet long or tiny little insorgii that are like 2 inches. And that would sum it up, I feel like. So I know that's kind of an easy out for me since I love West Africans so much, but I was thinking about it.
Fits, like
it does. And it could be South American, but like, let's be honest, I'm going with West African because I like them better. But that was a good question. Actually, when I laughed when I read it, I was like, I've never heard anything like that before. That is very creative. That's a creative question.
I don't know. That's what women bring to the hobby is unique perspectives. So
detail too. Yeah, that's one of those detailed questions that you just wouldn't think. Like I would never have thought of that. So I appreciate questions like that. I like.
Oh yeah, but that's cool. I mean, what about like plants? So like when I imagine Sacramento, I imagine like brown.
Sacramento is we were known like and I don't like there's a lot of brown in like California and different places. Sacramento was known for years until about I think it was 2016. We were the city of trees. So we are tree rich and again like a melting pot of people, we're a melting pot of plants and trees, foliage. Because so many people come from different areas and had settled there, like the gold rush. That's when Sacramento was built up. People coming from all over the United States, bringing different plants, different stuff, planting things. We have everything and pretty much anything can do well there. It's very cool. Like you have, my mom's a big gardener. And so I grew up surrounded by plants and flowers. And if you put even the slightest bit of effort into keeping pretty much anything, it can do well. Citrus does well. So we have great time with like people who want to garden or grow their own food. Vegetables do great. It's the fertile valley. I mean, we're in the valley. We have great soil. And Sacramento is also surrounded by the foothills. And during the springtime, everything is bright green. It's really pretty. That's
gotta be really pretty.
Come like July, it's all brown. I mean, like you drive to Napa, it's all brown. Like you're going, okay, I'm going to wine country. It'll be beautiful. But the drive is completely like, it looks like hay everywhere. And you're like, okay, cool. Makes sense.
That sounds a lot like Texas, actually. Like our springs, when we get, our 5 days of nice weather a year, it's super green and lush. And like, we actually had a lot of rain this spring. And so my backyard is like, it looks the best that it's ever looked.
Yeah. It depends on how much rain we get. That also is a factor. If you get a lot of rain in Sacramento, it makes for a very pretty spring, but they always say we're in a drought. And I'm like, I think we just send all our water to Southern California, but that's okay. Like, we're never technically in a drought. We just give all of our water away. But it is
we're going to be green for like a month, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody has different periods of green. And then you come to Washington and you're like, holy hell, it's green.
It's real
like,
green.
All the time. It's green in a totally different way. Like it's like a forest, whereas Sacramento is more like, I don't know, it's green, but it's like you see every type of plant. You run the gambit of everything. And we do really well with succulents. So if you go to downtown Sacramento, all these beautiful old houses that were built in like 1910, 1920 are just covered with succulents everywhere. It's
that's
beautiful.
gotta be pretty. I want to see
cool.
that.
Yeah. There's an area called the Fab 40s where all the old mansions are, and it's just they're crawling with succulents everywhere. I used to work right by that area, and so I'd always be amazed that you'd see like blue agaves that were like 15 feet tall. I mean, it was like Feed Me Seymour type of stuff, like Little Shop of Horrors plants. Very, very, very cool. Then they changed our moniker to the Farm to Fork capital, and there was an absolute uproar from Sacramentans everywhere. We were like, I
would have been in the uproar. Like, that's not it. That ain't
Does it flow off the tongue? The Farm to Fork capital. I'm like, the city of trees. How beautiful. Farm to Fork capital.
That's what you get in Iowa, Farm to Fork.
I mean, it's true though. We do a lot of farm.
Midwest.
That's what it sounds. It sounds more like that. Like it's a farm thing. But then again, a lot of fruits and vegetables that are shipped across the United States come from Northern California. So we have farmland everywhere. I know a lot of people who work in farming. Like there's a lot of old school farmers around there. It's pretty cool. Like UC Davis, my sister actually went there, and it's about 20 minutes outside of Sacramento. That's an agricultural school. So a lot of the area around UC Davis is all farmland. It's pretty, it's nice. Yeah. It also smells like cow shit all the time because there's cows everywhere.
That is the downside of the farmland.
Yeah. You know, when you're in Davis, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Great.
We like did a road trip recently going through like West Texas through Lubbock, and like that was miserable for like a solid 10 minutes going like 80 miles an hour on a highway, 10 minutes of just cow shit smell.
That is what
that was
Davis.
The worst.
You can't get away from it either. It like permeates. It's disgusting. You can feel the gases like pressuring you everywhere just from how much poop there is. It's really lovely.
Not a fan.
But it makes for great farming. So it's all right. Farm to Fork capital. Okay.
But my brain is like going in so many different directions because once you said something about like the Sacramento being a melting pot and bringing everybody in, I'm assuming that's where the 49ers like got their name, like the football team, since you're a fan, correct?
I am. I'm not a football fan, but I am a huge 49er fan. I was like,
I can appreciate that.
Because I'm so over professional sports. It's just all before anything, I'm a basketball fan. I played basketball my whole life. I'm a Kings fan, but I've also always been a 49er fan. We actually, in downtown Sacramento, we have Sutter's Fort, and Sutter was who kind of set things off for the Gold Rush in Sacramento. And so it's funny, the 49ers cheerleaders are called the Gold Rush. that is what they are referred to as. Yeah, which I always thought was really funny. Like I was doing a report on the Gold Rush and I Googled it and like cheerleaders popped up and I was like, oh, I didn't even know that's what we called them. And that's interesting. Yeah. But yeah, the whole Northern California, that's what created Northern California was the Gold Rush. And that's why Sacramento it's really easy to ship things in and out of Sacramento because it's a port city. We have Stockton, which is about 30 minutes outside of Sacramento, and it's a port. And then we have our own port. And so we're constantly moving things in and out. And so whenever I would order fish or anything like that, I always got things really quickly. I got things early in the morning. Like everything seemed to be really efficient. I felt very lucky because I never really had a lot of issues. Whereas I hear of other people who are maybe in an area that's not so accessible having nightmare things happen with their fish. And I felt bad always for that.
Yeah. Well, I only bring up the 49ers because I'm a Cowboys fan. So I had to just like,
yeah, I know.
I know. I'm sorry about
We
it. I'm
survived
sorry
that
because
era.
our team is so shit. Like
It's
so bad. We deserve nothing.
well,
like I said,
that's kind of how things have gone for us.
Dies, so
we're in the same boat because our team just fell apart and we traded all of our best players and like I don't even know what to say about it. It's a nightmare.
But anyway, I
had to
touch on it because I had to.
Because there's that right. My cousins are Cowboys fans. So there's always been, we're like, what the hell? You're from Sacramento. Like, whatever.
Doesn't make any sense.
No sense.
Well, I feel like I've been dominating the questions. Jodi, do you have any questions for Chelsea?
I told Emily earlier, I usually blank out on this type of stuff, but the only thing that I really had was, how did you get so knowledgeable on like literally every fish? I mean, obviously, I know you've been doing it for a long time.
So my whole life, because I started this very young. Yeah, I was like 7 or 8 when I got into reptile and fish keeping. And I hit it pretty hard even then. And the only reason I could is because my mom facilitated that for me. My parents paid for it and helped me and allowed me to do that, which I'm forever grateful for. But what it comes down to is I think I've always been somebody who can retain information really easily. I am a very strong reader. And when I was a kid, you should see the amount of books. Every book that I owned was an animal book, fish book, shark book, insect book, reptile book. That's all I purchased. I'd read everything. And then as time went on, I just continued to do that over the years. So I think it's just because of my retention that it probably seems like I know a lot, because like I remember when I first moved up here, Bob woke up at like 2 a.m. and looks over at me and he's like, what are you doing? Because I'm on my phone, like holding it this close to my face. And I was like, I'm reading a study on West African fish. And he's like, go to sleep. Like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, I don't know. I have to know this right now. Like, I have to learn about swim bladders right now and all these fish that are affected.
It's so important.
So I've always been like that. I just need to know. And I think a lot of it plays into the husbandry and like the level of husbandry that I want to have. I don't ever want to do an animal dirty. You know what I mean? Like if I know better, then I don't feel guilty because I'm doing the best for that animal. So I just do a lot of research, and I'm very passionate about animals. I don't think people quite grasp, like people that know me well know, like my sister yelled at her now husband, but it was her boyfriend. And we were all outside. He had only hung up around us maybe like 2 or 3 times. And he killed a spider right in front of me.
Ooh,
and my sister stops and like turns and looks at him. And she's like, don't you ever do that again. You're going to upset her. Like, and she's like dead ass serious. And I didn't even say anything because I was trying to be nice. He was new and he was a really nice guy. And I'm like, oh my God, he just killed this. Like, he just smashed it right in front of me. And I'm just like,
oh, what a travesty.
I'm dying on the inside. Everybody who knows me knows you come get me if there's a spider or if there's something you don't want to touch. Come get me. That's what I'm here for.
Some insect.
So I think my level of like well, I do well here because we have wolf spiders that are like 3.5 inches, and one was in the house the other day, and I'm like, "What's up, dude? Like, what's going on? Got to get you out of here!" Like,
I'm gonna note my way right out of that one.
Can't drop on my kid's face in the middle of the night. That's not going to be good. So,
like, ticks and spiders. Those are the 2 that I don't do well with.
No, and I appreciate that. I know I like a lot of stuff that people are like my whip scorpions and my vinegaroons, where everyone's like, hell no. That is the number one response I get to my invertebrates. Hell no. And I'm like, okay. That's like across the board from everybody.
No, right out of that little area. Like, no, thank you, please.
Yeah, I really want to always provide the best environment. And I feel like knowing where your animals come from, what they do, and obviously altering that for, we keep them in glass boxes, so it's not going to be exactly the same, but doing the best for them with the information we have available, which is why I look to channels like Oliver Lucanis's channel, because it's, I don't like gimmicky stuff. I want real information that's going to help me do better by the animal. That's basically what it comes down to for me.
I mean,
I watch everything that he puts out. It's pretty incredible to see their biotopes.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's all I can ask for. Show me where they come from. Tell me all about them. He's the one who's made me aware of probably 30 different species of tetra that I'd never heard of in my life. I said no more tetra. I literally was to a point where I was like, I don't ever want to see another tetra again in my life. I'll just keep pencil fish. And then I actually watched his video on the new species of Hyphesobrycon that they'd been finding in South America, and it reinvigorated my love for Tetra. I was like, okay, I'll keep Tetra again. I'll spend $40 on them a piece, but I'll keep them again. That's fine.
Like those Lampi Congo Tetra.
Yeah. Well, I drove to San Francisco to pick up Hyphesobrycon margitae because they were relatively new and you couldn't find them anywhere. And I was like, I drove down there, went to 2 aquarium stores, turned around and drove home. I think I sat in traffic for a total of 5 hours to spend an hour in San Francisco just to get these fish because nobody else had them. And then one of my local fish stores, because I knew the owners and they'd always do me a solid and order stuff for me if I asked. I was like, can you get some more of these fish? I can't do this again. Like, I'm not driving to the Bay Area and doing all this and spending all this money. And they ordered some in for me. It was really nice of them. But yeah, I've done some crazy stuff to get my hands on more rare species.
Yeah. That's really cool though. And like, that's fantastic that you just said the entire scientific name of the now that I'm trying to say it, I cannot.
The Hyphesobrycon.
Yes, that. Yeah. Every time on y'all's stream, when you say the entire scientific name, like super confidently and like super like, you stick it to the man, and I just love it every time.
I love Latin.
I'm just like, yes.
Thank you. People hate on Latin. I'm like, why is this a dead language? This was a great language. Like, there's nothing wrong with that.
I appreciate it. Like,
again, how you say it is how it sounds in my head, but not how it comes out of my mouth.
It just never comes out the correct way.
They'd be like putting multiple vowels in front of things. They just want to make you. What I've learned with the second part of scientific names, 99% of the time it's someone's last name. So you literally just think, how would I say their last name, and then put I on the end, and that helped me a lot with pronunciation on a lot of species. But like, sometimes I'm just like, you're literally just messing with us at this point. Like, this is a joke.
Why does it
this is not real. This is not a word. Like, give me a break. But thank you. I try again, strong reading skills help me a lot in my life. So it served me well.
That's fantastic. But I just love it every time.
Thank you.
Every time.
I know everybody gets a kick out of that, and I didn't even think about it ever. And people started mentioning it when I started streaming with Bob a couple years ago, and they're like, wow. And I'm like, is it really that? I didn't know.
It is.
Right? Yeah,
because nobody,
absolutely.
like, I watch these videos, and I think maybe the only other person that will, enunciate when they say the name is Primetime Aquatics, Jason. He's decent at it, but I will say that you are my preferred reader of names. And then once I hear it, I'm like, yeah, Hyphesobrycon margitae, of course, duh. Like,
and it makes sense, right? Once you hear it, it's like going to Wikipedia and pressing that button so that they pronounce things for you, and you're like, oh, all right.
Oh, that's not hard. That's great. Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Like, they spelled it like they wanted us to say it right. That's
exactly.
Rare. Yeah.
Oh man.
Since we're like 33 minutes in and we have not acknowledged anybody, we should probably do that.
Who cares about all you people watching right now? Just kidding.
That is a very valid point. And I am like frantically scrambling to find the fish fan thing that has it.
I was watching your guys' prior streams, and I know you guys had mentioned keeping up with chat can be
my god,
a challenge.
I haven't even looked at chat this stream.
goes. That was another thing where
enjoying the conversation.
But chat does sometimes. If you look away for like 2 seconds, you're like, wait a minute, who is talking about what? Like, what can we get onto? And especially on our streams, I feel like because we go so left field that I'll be like, I'll really get confused if I miss out for like 2 seconds.
Talking about going left field, like we've talked about cow shit and
the
history of Sacramento fish.
I gave you a little gold rush history for Northern California,
which I appreciate. I like learning new things. I'm about it. Okay,
well, I think a lot of things like that affect, like, for instance, how things are shipped now. Like, a lot of that predetermined how the routes that things are still taking to this day. It's kind of crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean, if it was important when they were building the railroad, that's how it gets there now. So
exactly.
Makes sense.
Yep.
All right, Miss Jodi, I have the list. All right, is everybody ready? I hope so.
Yeah.
We have in our participants list Linda Worth, the Tub Pond Handbook, Dr. Ted Coletti, which, thank you, by the way. Here's my book. It is right next to me, which he's not Steven signed on the inside. So I feel like I won
It's
the
a
lottery.
treasure. That is a
even though I paid
treasure.
for it. But that's awesome. And I will have you know, it came with, this makes me laugh every time I read it. So I keep it right in front of the computer. I don't know if you guys can read this, but it is a gift certificate to one Whips World signature thong. And I don't know if you guys can see that, but I will be cashing that in. So
where do you cash that in?
I don't know yet. I haven't figured that one out, but
I'll have to hear more about that later.
I'm gonna need it to be bougie, so bedazzle the shit out of it, please.
That's really funny.
Whenever it comes in. All right, I just had to point that out.
There we go.
The next we have Prodigal Aquarist, Cece's Aquascapes, Uncle Smiley's Aquariums. Ooh, Mr. B's CPDs. That guy's new. Jenna P. Cheryl's Boy Toy, the fishing net. Steampod Aquatics. Bob is watching. Oh my gosh.
Watching the baby and watching this. Multitasker.
Ooh, multitasking.
Look at that.
I know. There's Lumi, Stephen P. and Ramphonic, Flatbed Aquatics, Nancy B. Gregory Potter, Empire of Dirt Aquatics, Jeff Kane, Jonathan G, the Zen Ginger, CR Fish. Hey Cheryl, I'm sorry to tell you the bad news about the Mellis. That was sad. Outside in Aquatics, Ashley Duh Tanks, Lisa the Wolf, Christopher Junkin, JT Keeping Fish, Brayton Lightcap, who has a giveaway coming up on Saturday. He's hitting 1,500 subscribers, which is like really impressive. I think I have 143. So that's cool.
You'll get there. Don't worry.
I don't know if this counts, but Fish Fam Link. I'll take it. Wally's Freshwater Aquatics or Warren Venter. Mike Reardon, Sleeper Barbecue Grills to Gills. DJ Guppy Fish. Toonie Loon. Why Are We Always Yelling? Which is
I love that
name I really love.
I love so that.
So Green Machine Sweden, Big Steve's Glass Boxes, Scotty the Fish Freak, Sketty Nona, Geek Boy, KGE Aquatics, Peplin Creek Aquatics, Monster Fish Gal, Whips World. Don't forget about that thong.
She needs her thong, buddy.
I need it, apparently.
She needs it.
Foxy's Fishes, Only Oscars, Alishon AS, and Luminen. So thank you guys for watching this stream.
I love people's names. I love hearing everybody's different like usernames. So funny.
Yeah. I remember when I was coming up with mine, I was just like, I need it to sound good and obviously be fancy.
Indicative of who you are as a human.
I mean, you know, like everybody gives you such shit for like being bougie and being from Sacramento and liking Nordstrom and like yada yada.
So sorry.
And I just like you just have to embrace it. Like
I'd say I'm a product of my environment. My mom went to Nordstrom. That's where we shopped. I was like, what was I gonna do? Tell my mom no? Like, no, we can't go there, mom.
No, mom,
like,
I want to go to Fiesta. No, that's not how it works.
No, I remember when my mom discovered Old Navy and was like, I just bought 75 things for like $20. And I'm like, yeah, mom, that's because it's not Nordstrom. Like, how that works in other stores. Like, it's amazing, isn't it?
But yeah, I just found myself like really enjoying and really liking the more expensive fish in the hobby, which of fucking course I like the expensive ones because they're pretty.
Tell me about it.
And like I don't have time. I know you're a fan of like brown and silver fish, but like I don't have time for them most of the time.
That's completely
like, I can't
more for me.
Yeah, that's great. You take it.
Yeah. See, that's why I love this hobby because I can hate discus and African cichlids and yet other people hate my brown fish. And I'm like, see, so it all works out. And I never take offense because first of all, the brown fish I want are always like over $100 or something. And Bob will always point that out. He's like, oh, is it the most expensive one? Then it's probably the one you want, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's how it always works.
I can't help that people don't make it out alive of West Africa and that I can't get any fish for less than this amount of money.
It's not my fault they price them the way they do.
Yeah, give me a
I don't
break.
ask questions. Like, no. Not my fault.
And
I'm not in charge of it.
The first fish I think I mentioned this in our stream. The first fish I ever spent more than $50 on was my zebra cara. So my Ivana-cara atiquetta. And I would have spent, having that fish for 1 week, I would have spent twice that amount of money on it. Like every fish I've ever spent a stupid amount of money on, maybe besides super red pencil fish, I was very happy with. Like
those are pretty.
I felt really good about my purchases always. So
oh yeah, there's no regret. No regret in my mind. I'm just like, yep, I need that.
My first spotted Congo puffer, I was like, yes. My macrostoma, I was like, totally worth every penny. Like,
absolutely
not a cheap fish, but a worthwhile fish for sure.
I was thinking about putting pencil fish in the discus tank, but I meant to ask you earlier, like, do you think that they would do well in a hot tank? I'm
that you can try it.
I don't know about it.
I would start.
Do I try it with a $40 fish though? Because I'm gonna get like 15 of them.
Well, I would almost start with like Beckford. I know that's not the super pretty pencil fish. Like
they're still a little red.
Personally, my favorite pencil fish for color are the rubricatus. They're the Nanostomus rubricatus. So they're the purple pencils. And to me, they look almost identical to the super reds or the red arcs or whatever people are calling them now, but they live. So for me, I really like that about fish when they live.
Yeah.
And we've had ours for a really long time. They're excellent. I would feel, if it was me, I would try it because I've tried pretty much everything. You got to try it to know if it works. And
I just don't want the rummy nose, like the typical. Like I don't want rummy nose. No. I don't want the cardinal tetras. Like no, thank you, please. Like I would like something.
Try it.
Like
what is the tank temp? What do you have? Is it like 80?
It's hold on, I can see it. It's about 83, 84.
83, 84. Okay. It might be a little hot for him. I would watch them because you could tell real quickly. I mean, within like hours if they're struggling with it, and then you could take them out. Sometimes fish will surprise you though. The adaptability of fish, like there's not much that I won't try within reason. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like obviously I'm not going to put a pencil fish in with my pikes. That would be stupid. That's not a good, even though I think my pikes might ignore them, but still I'm not going to try it. But with that, I'd give it a whirl and just make sure you're available to like stare at the tank, you know, for like an hour and make sure they're not.
It's in the office. Like the lights are off right now, but like right here, boom.
They'll start gasping real quick. Is it really oxygenated, your tank? Do you have a lot of oxygen?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
So I've got like, I've got 2 air stones going right now, but I did just order some of the new black aquarium co-op sponge filters, and I'm going to put a power head on it. So it'll be super oxygenated by the time I'm done with it, which takes me forever to do things. But
that would be my biggest concern with that high of temperatures with most fish, is just that they're getting enough oxygen. It'll speed up their life cycle. That is
sure, but like anything hot, doesn't last long.
Exactly. And so it's just one of those things where when you're talking about a fish that only lives a few years anyways, you're not hurting the fish, you know, you're taking care of the fish. So I'd definitely try it and see how it goes, because who wants to get those 2 other fish that always go in those tanks like you were just saying? No, thank you. I just
next.
No.
Yeah.
I can't keep rams. Well, I can do well with Bolivian rams. I cannot keep German rams alive.
Really?
To save my life, I cannot keep them alive. They'll thrive for like 6 to 8 months, really doing really, really well. And then all of a sudden they crash out of nowhere. And so I just stopped.
I have had that experience actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of black rams and they
fool you because they go so long. You're like, okay, we've made it past the hump, the initial few months or whatever. And then every time they just crash on me for no reason at all, for absolutely no reason at all. So, but that's why I'm obsessed with Bolivians. First of all, I just like the look of Bolivians better, but those fish are tanks. Like again, a fish that if you kill it, you did it. Like it's your fault.
Yeah.
Like there's no reason to be killing Bolivian rams. Really, they're not sensitive fish. But
have you found your Bolivians to be aggressive?
In my favorite way. I am a proponent of their attitude, so that's part of why I love them. I had them in a community 75. I had a threadfin. I had some other medium-sized South American cichlids. I had a group of 10 Ivanacara etiquetta I was growing out. So I had these all in this tank. The rams spawned, and they were pushing every single fish in that tank out of their area. Nobody could get close, and they didn't care. Like the threadfin would just go to swim through innocently, like not even trying to get near their fry or anything. And they would push that fish right back out. Like this huge 8-inch fish, this little 2.5-inch ram is like, get away from me. And it was like, okay.
That's so funny.
It looked so surprised. Like it was like, oh, all right. So that is one of my favorite parts, but never would they hurt anything. I've never seen a Bolivian actually cause damage, but I've definitely seen them be assholes, and I really enjoy that about
yeah.
them. So.
I appreciate. I like a fish that stands up for itself. Yeah. Like I don't need you to, you know.
They have to have their limits.
Yeah,
I have my limits. I don't want people coming up in my space and touching me. Like that's fine. Back up. Like we're fine. We're good.
Yeah,
they're beautiful.
The reason
fish.
I asked was because I actually had one kill another in the tank.
Really?
Dun, dun, dun.
I've never heard of that. What happened? Did you see it or did you?
The last I saw it, like charged it, and it was just continual harassment, and it looked like it was biting, you know, as much as it can. But,
what size tank are they in?
Well, they're juveniles right now, so they're barely even 1.5 inches. And they're in a 20 tall at the moment just for quarantine, and then they're coming out. And they have hides and little plant, you know, the whole thing's planted. It's a freaking jungle.
They are very territorial. I could see even when they're young, because when I raised mine up, I had them in, I think I had them in a 29. So I had them in a 29 with some pencil fish that I was raising my babies out in. And when they got to be about 1/2 inch, so real tiny little things, not even like you're still a baby, and they were not happy with like multiple males being in each other's space, even in a 29. So, you know, that 30 inches, they weren't good with that. So I never saw them hurt each other. They just looked pissed off. Like, I think it might just be a territory thing. And maybe you had multiple males, because males will be jerky to each other. I've noticed that, but
that's definitely a possibility. I don't know the sex ratio at all.
Yeah. I always buy groups of Bolivians. Like I buy like 6 at a time and hope for the best. So
that's what I did.
Yeah. I got a really strong pair, the one that spawned for me. And of all the fish I've spawned on accident over the years, that was my most exciting. I was so excited for those fish. I don't know, because they are the cutest babies ever.
Yeah.
Baby rams are darling. Yeah.
I love when you get a bunch of the babies in the tank and you can kind of like move your hand around and they'll follow it. I'm a sucker for it.
Great.
Like if Corey did it in his store, I would be like, wow.
Yeah. It's pretty cute. I have a lot of videos of my breeder boxes filled with different kinds of fry where you can just do the whole, and they're like, oh, food, maybe food, maybe food. And they follow you everywhere. Yeah. It's great. But I think actually my favorite fry of all time are crebensis fry, which are like the easiest fry to get in the world. They're like little hot dogs. I don't know. They all stay really low to the ground. They're just these funny little oblong things, and they move as like one mass. It's just, they're the cutest fry ever. Love them. Can't get rid of them, but love them.
Yeah. That's a shame.
You have them, you never will get rid of them. You'll have them for the rest of your life. So be prepared for that.
I wanted to highlight this particular comment that I was looking at in the chat, and Steven is talking about, oh man, Powerhead with those fine pore filters. Hell yes.
Yeah.
That is like, nice. Okay, so Corey shits on fine pore sponge filters every chance he gets. And I know that you guys are friends with him, but I've got a little bit of beef with him right now. Like,
it's okay to have beef. That's okay.
I just like, I honestly, like, they're so useful. At least in my fish tanks, because I breed a lot of fish, and so like a fine pore sponge filter, like even I've tried coarse sponge filters, and I have a ton of them. They work great in certain circumstances, but like there is a time and a place for a fine pore sponge filter that a coarse could never do. And
that's true.
And this, what Steven's talking about, is one of the reasons why I got it, because I'm trying to like polish up the water in my discus tank. It's just not crispy enough for me right now. And so like, that's one of the things I'm going to try and get it. Like I've got filter floss, yada, 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 whatever. Yeah. But I think like I need the oxygen and everything from the sponge filter, but I want to like fucking power it through the tank. Like
shoot
that's
it through
what
as
I want.
fast as possible.
Yes.
Yeah. And so yeah, I can see that. I absolutely think that I agree with you. There is a time and a place. I think it serves a purpose. And I will tell you that I think that's why Corey finally did it. Because above anything else, what I will say What I will say about Corey is he is a very smart businessman. Whether he likes something personally or not, I think he sees the want, the need, and the merit in it in a lot of cases, and that's when he goes for it. And so when Bob showed me that, first of all, I love the black. I'm a big fan. I like the black option. Yes. I do really like that personally. So for me, that's a plus. And I like the options because you know what? Even if you're not a fan yourself, somebody is, and it serves a purpose for somebody. So I'm really stoked on those. Actually, that's a good addition to their repertoire for sure.
I think so. I mean, they got me. I bought like 10 like medium ones and 10 large ones. Like they're going in the tanks, and I'm gonna test them out. Like I'm gonna put them through their paces. So I'm super stoked about them. And I do love the black because it kind of helps blend it in a little bit better. The green, it's great for planted tanks and stuff. It's just like it's a little much.
Yeah, I think it's only great for some planted tanks. It's just the most off shade of green from most of the plants.
Yeah,
so
I have said that
stands out like a sore thumb.
I've said that before. I actually like the color green that it is. I really enjoy that green, but it doesn't. A lot of plants are just not that green. So I can't, for me, when they came out with their easy planters, I was a real sucker for those because I am the queen of like taking a pot and throwing it in there and just going, I'll get to that in like 8 months when it's already rooted through everything. So those made my life really excited. I remember being like, yes, this is one of the first things that I've purchased in the, like, I don't use a whole lot of, it's funny because I saw that question about gadgets, like favorite gadgets.
Yeah. Sure.
I don't really use anything that's like gadgety. And I even asked Bob, I was like, what do I use that's like, or what do we have that's a gadget? And he's like, what about the egg scraper? And I'm like, that is probably my favorite thing that we have had come into our fish room in a long time is just a little 3D printed plastic egg scraper that makes it so I don't have to like fall halfway in a tank trying to save the eggs I've dropped out of whatever. Like with my razor, as I'm like accidentally cutting myself half the time trying to like do this.
Or the silicone. I always worry about that.
Oh, I always get the silicone. I get all up under the silicone. I'm like, well, we'll see how long that's going to last. But the stuff like that, like those innovations, a piece of plastic with some holes in it changed my life. Like that was
great.
I also will say that manual water changes for years was really fun until I got a Python and like wondered why I hadn't purchased a Python long before that. My arms looked great, but
I put like Tim the Toolman Taylor. I put like a big ass pump on my Python, and it is life changing. I can drain a 40 breeder in like 5 minutes.
It's amazing.
Like, it is wonderful. Like, and I'll never go back. I did buckets for maybe a month. I was like, I'm not built for this. I'm not.
The buckets are rough. Like. It really is a testament to how badly you want to keep fish when you bucket water change for sure.
Yeah, there's no way I could keep as many tanks and as many fish as I do because I still manually water change, except like with the help of a Python, like in overdrive and all that yada stuff. But like, there's no way I could do it without it. Like, and there's no way I would want to do it without it. So
a lot.
Yeah,
it's a lot. I lived in like a high-rise old house that was built in like 1910. And so I would have to take a bucket downstairs, like outside. And I finally got to the point where I said, F it. I opened a window and started draining my tanks out the window. And I was like, c'est la vie. I don't really care. If my house sinks, then it sinks. I can't worry about it. I can't worry about it.
I just can't believe you drop buckets up and down the stairs. I'm sorry to interrupt, but that just is mind-blowing to me. I'm just like, absolutely not. There is no way.
It was a
snowball in hell would have a better chance of surviving than me.
Full buckets.
No. What were you thinking?
I bet I didn't have a gym membership at the time, and I thought, what
you didn't need one.
Like, no, it was a lot, and it was fun. Once I got the Python, it was enjoyable for the whole house. Like my cat loved the Python. So if I sucked up any crap in the Python, he'd see it and he'd chase it all the way down. And I was like, my God, this invention serves everyone. Like, this is the most wonderful cat toy ever to be invented. Ever. He'd hit it super hard with his paws. Great. Yeah, it's so funny.
Even the dogs get in on it.
Yeah. You see something moving that quick, they go after it. I'm like, okay, I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah.
Oh, holy
That's fantastic.
My goodness. Can you guys hear the quail? I'm just curious.
Yeah. I can hear him. I mean, it's not like annoying.
So
it's just like a little
no.
peep, 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 peep.
From an animal that's 2 inches big, you'd think that a sound that large couldn't come out
But
of
they're
it.
so cute. I
They
would
are cute.
handle the
Adorable.
noise.
I would
but
grab one, but they terrify me to touch them because they're so small. That's one of those animals that I'm like, I'm gonna break you. Get away from me. I can't.
Don't touch. Don't touch.
Yeah.
I was just in our bomb guards, which is like a Tractor Supply equivalent, and they had a boatload of baby quail in there. I was real tempted.
Why didn't
They
you buy
are
any? Just be
cute.
like, I'm not sorry,
What type
Sean.
of quail? Were they like Caturnix or Buttons or?
Paternix, I think.
That's what we have. Yeah, they are super cute, but they are the stupidest animals on this earth. They would all run to their death immediately if they could.
Some
like,
of the fancy chickens are the dumbest mofos I have ever met.
I think goldfish are the stupidest until I met quail, and then I'm like, nope, never mind. They always just the herd mentality. It's like lemmings. They all just would go over the cliff.
Oh my God, I remember that game.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's quail. Like that's quail. They'd all do that too. Yeah, just off themselves.
Chickens aren't much better.
No, they're not. That's true.
At least you guys can have them. My HOA or my city doesn't allow them. Like
really?
Domestic chickens. Yeah, it's like
weird.
legit written in the city ordinances. Like no chickens for you, bougie.
That
like,
should be illegal in Texas to tell you cannot have chickens
you would
anywhere.
think so, but like it's
That's
the burbs. The Karens get away with everything.
See, in downtown Sacramento, which like the city, people everywhere around me had chickens. When I moved into my house, they were cleaning up the old chicken pen. Well, actually, there was a falconer who'd lived there before me. Ironically,
that's cool.
They're like, yeah, there was a falconer here. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they were using the chicken coop. I'm like, there's a chicken coop here, and there was a falconer here. Yes, I'm living here. This is perfect.
I'm about it.
They're everywhere. Like there was chickens walking around the grid, like because I call it the grid because it's like we're on a grid downtown. It's letters and numbers. It's really easy. And there would be chickens and turkeys everywhere, literally everywhere. We have wild turkeys everywhere. And if a wild turkey gets in front of you, it's not moving ever. So
they're kind of creepy, wild turkeys. Yeah. Like they're big and they don't move. They're mean.
No. And that's like a real problem. A lady in Davis called the police because she was trapped in her car. There is a real call. And she's like, I know this is going to sound ridiculous. I am trapped in my car. Sorry. There is a Tom circling my car right now. And this turkey is like walking around her car, and they're huge. So I get it. Yeah. Like, you don't want to get charged by a turkey. Come on now.
No.
That's crazy.
I don't think we can call our turkeys wild anymore here. They're way too tame. And there's usually 50 to 60 of them at a given time because one of my neighbors throws out corn.
Once people start feeding them, it's all over. Like, come on.
Yeah, they walk through the yard at 5 a.m. and 9 a.m. like clockwork every day.
We just have too many sources of water. Like there's 2 rivers that intersect and run like kind of right near each other. And so there's coyotes, there's turkeys, and they're all within city limits, which is kind of crazy because you see all these wild animals walking around downtown and you're like, are you supposed to be here? Like next to the bar, like a turkey next to the dive bar.
Like crossing sign in the wrong spot.
Yeah, you can get stuck though by the wildlife there. Like they'll trap you. It's pretty funny.
Imagine. Well, Jodi, you were using a big stock tank for your baby chickens, right? Are they still in there?
No.
Or are you in the middle of converting it to a pond now?
It is currently filled with water and 2 lilies from Nancy.
Love that.
So I haven't put any fish out yet, and I just brought home 2 more stock tanks yesterday, so I'll have 3 100 gallons.
Nice.
So, what are you putting in them?
Yeah, I'm
rice
curious.
Fish and mosquito fish.
That's
for now.
Okay. Oh, Gambusia is
melanistic Gambusia from
nice.
Big Steve, actually.
Oh, that's cool. That's exciting. I like Gambusia.
Yeah,
that's a fish I really like.
They're like Dalmatian spotted.
Oh, that's cool. I don't know if I've ever seen those. I'm a big fan of that type of fish though, because they serve such a significant purpose. They're really helpful little fish.
Oh yeah,
and I love rice fish. Those are the best.
I absolutely adore rice fish.
I hope so.
The fact that nobody knows about rice fish, I find baffling. Like
when I started keeping them, you couldn't even get them anywhere, and it used to really piss me off because these are the easiest fish to take care of. And I was on like the hunt. This was years ago, but I was on the hunt for them everywhere. And the ones that you could get a hold of were just dreadful. They were so inbred and just they looked like death. And I was really excited when, again, one of my local fish stores, who they were nice enough to listen to me when I'd ask for things, I'd complain about these kind of things, and all of a sudden they'd have like 3 different types of rice fish that all looked really good. So it started to become easier to find really nice specimens. Plus there was a breeder in El Dorado Hills, which is about 30 minutes from Sacramento, and he bred like lames, really pretty species of lames, high-end Japanese line that he'd purchased from Japan. But he had a raccoon wipe out his entire stock, because he also had it outside.
That's something I'll have to worry about too. We get raccoons a lot.
You will, because it is a real thing. Even my mom's ponds that she has with just koi and some random goldfish and mosquito fish, they get decimated. Like those raccoons, they don't care. They will get all up in there.
Yeah.
My dad has like this ongoing battle with a blue heron that keeps going after their fish. He's like, that damn blue heron's out there again. I'm like, oh my God. This is what happens when you're semi-retired and have nothing to do. You're worried about blue heron all the time. He's like, I got that damn thing last time. I scared it out of there. I'm like, Dad, this has to end at some point. Like, you can't keep doing this. He's like, I've had to buy new fish like 5 times. I'm like, but it looks so ugly when you have to throw a net over your beautiful pond. Like his pond
does. Yeah, that totally ruins the vibe.
It does, but it's necessary because you have critters and they will get all up in there and eat your fish. So it's unfortunate. Even ducks have been known to come in and eat fish, small fish out of ponds. So
we get heron around here too, and sandhill cranes.
Oh, cranes are pretty.
Those are nice. Those are migratory.
Yeah.
Yes, they are. I like those. I think they're beautiful birds, but they are just probably one of the biggest killers of like pond fish out there.
Yeah.
They're gnarly. They can eat a lot.
And we have ponds around here too.
Yeah.
I mean, some are small, some are decent-ish size. You know, they're man-made ponds, one of them. And then there are a few natural ponds around here, but I think there's like 10. So there's a lot of wildlife.
Yeah. That's something that I've always contended with where I've lived, like now and even in Sacramento, because everything is so, like where I lived for a long time, it was like a little piece of country right in the middle of the city. So I backed up to the river and there were deer and raccoons and just all kinds of stuff in my yard all the time. You have to be really cognizant of those kind of things when setting up water. Not only because they eat things, but because they will fall in and die. That's another thing.
I didn't just think about that.
Yeah, and that can murder your whole
steps in there. Got it.
Yeah. Make sure things can get out of your ponds because their rats will get in there and die. Like it's just you have to be careful. Yeah. That's careful for that one.
I did not anticipate that part.
Yeah, that's something. Just because it can throw off, I mean, obviously it can spike ammonia and kill everything if it's in there long enough and you don't know about it. So we've had that happen with our stock ponds here. We had a rat.
I feel like a raccoon's going to be a little bit more noticeable in a 100-gallon.
Yeah,
pond.
You might see that 35-pound raccoon sticking out more than the 1 pound sewer
maybe just
rat.
his tail.
Yeah. But we have a lot of wildlife here too that we have to watch out for because it's. The worst thing though, outdoor cats. Like, I don't keep my cat. I never kept my cat outside. He was an indoor cat. So but outdoor cats kill a lot of stuff around us, and it's very sad. Very sad.
The outdoor cats here are lazy as shit. They're not mine. They're my neighbors, but they are they're chunky and well-fed
not getting
outdoor
their
cats.
exercise, huh? No. Yeah, that's probably better. At least they're not running after anything too quickly. That's good.
No. Yeah. Every once in a while they come up here to say hi. That's actually how I got one of my cats when she was only like a pound and she showed up in my garage Christmas morning and it was -20.
I'd be so pissed. Who puts their animals out? Like, I can't stand that. I'm an indoor animal type of person. So
I am too.
You don't have your pets where you can't be with them. Like that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. So I've never been a fan of that ever.
I grew up with all my animals outside.
In my bed, so
I understand that too. I grew up with all my animals outside, but we were always outside.
Yeah,
that was the thing. Back then, we were always outside. I was always outside. I had a rabbit that had like a hutch outside, but it's because it was huge and he loved it. Like that's where he wanted to be. But we also had potty trained rabbits in our house that would hop around. My friends would come over and be like, what the hell is this Wonderland? I know, right? It's a free-for-all with animals in this place. My friends would go to my house and go home and go, but Chelsea has this. And they're like, I don't care. Her mom's crazy. We don't like her mom anyways. Like, I'm like, yeah, even more reason to not like her. Because she never said no. It was like everything I wanted. She's like, all right, go ahead and get it.
My mom would murder me if I brought a snake in.
She made me keep my first snake outside because she was so weirded out. But then she realized she liked them. I was like, yeah, see, they're not that bad, are they? Snakes are great. I don't know how she'd feel about the lizards I have now that are like 3 feet long. I don't know how that would have gone because I wanted a Nile monitor more than anything in the world when I was a kid. And my mom was like, I think we're going to draw the line at a 5-foot lizard, but that's okay. But then when I got older, I made all my dreams come true. Yeah.
Can you own a bear cat out there?
Huh?
Can you own a bear cat?
I don't know. I don't.
They're so cool.
Yeah, they are really cool. They are very, very cool. But I would consider anything. Like I am one of those people that I would literally consider owning any animal, I'd take anything. Nothing. There's nothing that I look at and like say, ew, I don't like that, or I don't want that, or I couldn't handle that. I'm like, no, I'd try it. I'd try anything.
I'd try it.
We'll see how it goes. Like, I mean, I remember getting my tegu. Like, I went and looked up because I wanted to be aware, and I went and I looked up people being bit by tegus because I wanted to see the injuries that a tegu could cause and be prepared. Like, what's worst case scenario? Am I dying? You know what I mean? Like, am I losing a limb? Am I losing something? Like, what's happening to me if I buy this animal? And then I usually just do it anyways, regardless of what I see, which is exactly what I did. The only time my girl is crazy is when she's hungry and she just wants food. But yeah, I think with animals, I really have no limits, and it's hard being with somebody who doesn't say no, like, because he's as bad as I am. Like, we can't stop each other. That's the problem. Like, that's why we have gerbils, because like I dreamt of gerbils as a child and I never got to have them. They're illegal in California. You can't have gerbils. So I'd always, weird, right? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. But you can't have ferrets either. So none of that. But I always dreamed of gerbils. And so when we saw a pair of gerbils, we got them. Because now I'm old enough to just do whatever I want. And I can buy whatever I want.
I have adult money. I can do what I want.
Excellent choice too, by the way. Gerbils are amazing. I'm obsessed with the gerbils. But it's just funny because like, even knowing I couldn't have them, I still researched them as if I could. My mom's like, you can never keep these. Like, you'll never have these. And I'm like, oh, well, I'm still going to read every book on gerbils that has ever been written.
I need to be informed in the off chance that it happens to me.
That's how I learned so much, hoping that one day I could get my hands on all these animals. Yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, the hours, we are past an hour. 6:09.
Time flies. Oh, I was like 6. It's 4.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Forget about that.
I forgot.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah. All right. Well, I didn't see any like questions for questions for Chelsea in the chat, although I might have missed it. So
yeah. So if anybody had any questions, feel free to ask because we did a terrible job of keeping up.
I'm sure if somebody wanted to know something bad enough, they'd speak up. I'm sure.
They'd or write it in all caps. Love that. Yell at it. Yell it online.
You're getting answered so much sooner when you type in all caps.
Yes,
like,
that's
Vibes would like to know cottage cheese.
How do I? What? Oh, I forgot I had this. Oh, that's disgusting. Wow. That's a flat soda is what that is. Oh my god.
Oh, dislike.
Night, Dawn.
I can't handle that. That's I was really excited and I was like, oh, Dr. Pepper. No.
Absolutely not.
Christopher would like to know what lizards are next to you right now.
I have the tegu right here. I have emerald tree skinks behind me. Schneider skinks right there. Grass lizards are right there. False chameleons right there. Sailfin dragons right there. They're all here. They're all right here.
Nice.
The only thing that's not in here right now, we have emerald swifts that are on the fish side, and then we have the milk snake is over there too, because she can handle a lot of humidity. So she's in the actual fish room. Her sheds have been perfect in there. I'm quite pleased. She does the whole one-piece shed. There's nothing more satisfying.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Life. Yeah, and seeing them pull off that one, I'm like, I'm so proud of myself, and I shouldn't be because I did nothing except for provide adequate humidity. But I still, it makes me really happy every time she has a perfect shed. It's very cathartic. So, I'm surrounded by animals right now, and they're all hungry. So, like, it's funny because the emerald tree skinks will jump at the front of the glass when they're hungry, like hurl themselves off of their hardscape onto the glass. So I just hear like smack, smack. And I know, okay, it's time to feed them. I've got Schneider skinks like crawling up walls. There's a lot going on in here. That's and I don't know if we also have our 125 in here too. So nice and green.
So it's all kind of is your fish room and your reptile space like interconnected?
They're next to each other and you can access them. There's a door that you can access, but they're not like in the same room. Okay. I almost wish they were, but at the same time, I'm like, it is kind of nice to have separation, but for the most part, we keep species that do need high humidity. The only arid species that we keep are the Schneiders. So technically we could have it all in one room. I think going forward, that would be the plan to maybe have like just one big space for everything, and maybe a small like room divider, but not separate rooms. I like having everything where I can see it at the same time. Yeah, it's really helpful for maintenance for me. I'm one of those people that admittedly, like if it's difficult for me to get to, this is why I don't like tanks on the ground. This is why I don't like tanks behind things, or I don't even really like tanks that are lengthwise instead of widthwise because I can't access them and I'm just bad. So that's a good question. I would love to see a great white size geophagus, so I'm going to go with that. Plus, they wouldn't eat me because they're sand sifters, so their pharyngeal mills would not allow for them to eat me even at that size. So that's my answer. Yeah, that's a good question. I would love to see little baby great whites too, though. That would also be cool.
They would be so tiny but so vicious.
Oh my god, that's okay though. That's like little rams.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Just little itty bitty teeth.
Geophagus are just such a, I don't want to say they're underkept, but man, I wish more people kept geophagus and I can have more geophagus conversations because not a lot of people in Sacramento at least kept them. Like I was one of the few, and I feel like they're just such a great fish. Wonderful fish.
You think like is 100 gallons enough for a geo?
Yeah,
like a geophagus speni?
Yeah, you could keep if I had a like a 125. So the 125 we have right here, I'd put like 6 to 8 speni in it.
Okay.
Speni only get about 5 inches. My largest speni was around 5.5 inches, and I got it when it was,
that's not as big as I was thinking.
No,
for some reason, I thought they got like chonky.
People try and say that geophagus gets so huge, and I'm like, maybe they do in the wild, but I have kept pretty much every type of geophagus and gymnogeophagus that is available. And the largest one I'd say is probably Altifrons or Surinamensis. And a lot of things are sold as Surinamensis, even when they're not. That's a very common like label given to a lot of geos when they don't know what they are. They get about 8 inches. So they're larger. But even then, I would feel fine keeping them in 125 gallon as long as you didn't have like 20 of them in there. Okay. But redhead tapajos are great. The gymnos are great for like 100 and under. If you have like a 75, gymnogeophagus are great because they only get about 5 inches, most of them. But when you start getting into like the larger geos, you do kind of have to watch out for aggression. Territoriality. Like they get a little pissy with each other until the hierarchy is established. But another really beautiful geo that I was just talking to somebody about today is the Altasinu. And the Altasinu, I don't know if you guys have ever seen those, but they're similar to Steindachnerai, which is the red hump, but they have the most ridiculously gorgeous golden green like splotching that shimmers all over their body. They're one of the prettiest geos I've ever kept, and they only get about 6 inches, so you could keep those too in like under 100. They would work. There's a lot of geos you could get in there and be fine. Just lots of substrate.
Like if they're anything like the micro geophagus that in terms of like aggression and territorial disputes, like
I would say Bolivian rams have more attitude than most geophagus I've kept. I would say those are much more
the Napoleon complex.
Yeah, they really feel the need to project it all. But I've never the most aggressive geophagus or gymnogeophagus I kept was a It's called a Terra Purpura, and they're a Gymnageo, and they're assholes. Like, I was expecting my normal like geo personality when I got these, and they just went after each other. They went after everything else. I also experienced that with the red humps. I had a couple female red humps that were real jerks. So
yeah.
Oh,
Just interesting.
Yeah.
Are you? I was about to ask. You're able to read the little?
I can see it.
Okay. Cool.
Do I have any foods that you and the critters both enjoy? Or produce or meats do y'all keep on hand? What do you cook knowing you can feed fish or herps some of the same ingredients or some of the ingredients? Tilapia is a staple that kind of goes across the board here. The tegu loves tilapia. The sailfin will eat tilapia sometimes. The turtles will eat tilapia. We do have a red-eared slider and a red-eared mud turtle, and they'll eat the tilapia. I have bugs that will eat tilapia. So some of the when our super worms turn into darkling beetles because I throw them in a tank and forget about them and they bury themselves. I feed those tilapia. I had blue death feigning beetles that ate tilapia, but that's pretty much the only protein that we all eat. Other than that, all the fish eat. We use the co-op food. They love the co-op food. I always love bug bites. Bug bites are gross. I've never tried these things though, so I can't vouch for them personally. But fresh fruits and veggies. Obviously, fish love green beans and zucchini and all that good stuff. So we do some of that. But yeah, tilapia would be the great connector between us all. We can all eat tilapia.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
It's not cheap, though, to feed all these animals, I will say. That is something I think we can all vouch for, keeping lots of fish or lots of reptiles or just animals in general. That's the biggest question I got asked, I think, by anybody was, how much money do you spend every month on food? Which I was always kind of blown away that people felt.
Why did people, you're asking the most negative question.
Yeah,
ignorance is bliss.
Totally.
Just don't even worry about it.
Because they're not saying it and oh my gosh, you are so great for feeding your animals. Well, how much do you spend? They're like, how much money do you spend on these animals?
I don't need to be judged.
Yeah.
I don't need that.
I always wanted to say, well, how much do you spend on your kids? Because it's probably about the same. And mine are
less.
Much bigger. But now I have a kid, so I'm like, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I shouldn't do that. She is cheaper to feed than all these animals. So that's
having a kid. You can still say that.
Well, I had my Aki monitor and my bearded dragon, I've said this before too, could eat $30 worth of bugs in one day. And they would.
Goodness.
So, yeah, one day. So I would pay $28 for 85 dubia roaches. I had a colony too, but if I would have fed the amount I needed to feed to keep up with what I had to feed, I would have decimated my colony. So I would supplement my colony and add more, and they would go through about $20 to $30, just the two of them. And I had a million other things to feed too that also ate that food. So that's one thing I would say to people who don't know much about the hobby getting into it. Please know how much money you're going to spend to do it the right way. And if you don't do it the right way, just don't do it.
Just don't do it.
Yeah. I would not recommend. It's not a hobby for the faint of heart. The people who are lazy, which has been us. I mean, I know we've had stuff going on, but we're paying for our 6 months worth of laziness. You can't get behind in this kind of stuff with food, with maintenance. It just really comes back.
I feel like that goes with all animals. People get on to me for being bougie because our dogs are insured. We have
that's smart.
It's useful. And it all
smart.
evens out eventually, at least here, because veterinary care is so expensive here.
Veterinary care is expensive. Mine is incredibly inexpensive. It's a small town vet. Insurance would be an astronomical amount for us to insure both our dogs, both our cats, when even their worst procedure barely is $600.
Wow. I am burned in that area because I couldn't even, when I had a pit bull for 13 years. When I got him, there wasn't insurance available. It was a long time ago. It was mid to early 2000s, and they didn't offer that kind of comprehensive insurance like they have now, because they have a lot of great options for insurance. My dog tore both his CCLs. So it was $10,000. And I'm very I don't even care. Some people won't talk about numbers. I'm not one of those people. It was $10,000. And then when he was much later in his life. So about 7 years after, he was 7 years old when that happened. So that hurt, obviously. That's a painful amount of money. And then later, when he was in his elderly years, he basically had disc slip in his back and he was basically paralyzed. So he went to UC Davis.
Yeah.
Because we're very fortunate to have UC Davis, which is, you know, pretty much top of the line for vets. And it was almost $20,000. So this is the kind of thing where I know dogs and mammals and larger animals can incur a lot more fees, obviously. But I still try, and when people ask me or they want to get their kids something, because I have a lot of my friends who will reach out and say like, oh, I'm going to get my kid a reptile or a fish or whatever. Can you give me some advice? I always try and say, please, again, do not get these animals unless you're willing to get them veterinary care. Because even fish, it's a little bit different, but with like reptiles, be ready to pay for them because things happen, and if you don't do right by your animal, you really shouldn't have them. Like that's just not, at least that's how I feel about it. I've taken reptiles to the vet, so I mean they have to go too. And I think too many people are willing to spend the money to get things set up and then not spend the money to maintain. And that's one of the most frustrating things for me in either of these hobbies, reptiles or fish, is like, you guys, if you're going to commit, you know, like be about it, which I see both of you guys do, which I really like. When I see people get into the hobby and hit it hard, but they do it well and they care about the animals and they're willing to put the time and effort into it, that's why I like you guys. I love that. I'm like, God, like there's other people out there who are willing to do that, because so often I see things being rehomed that they're like, I've had this for 6 months and I'm over it. And I'm like, man, you're the problem. Like,
who does that? That just like blows my mind.
So many people.
I don't get it. Like, no, that's just not how I move through life. Like, I don't think I could ever do that.
It hurt my heart to rehome a lot of the animals I had to rehome moving, but it just wasn't feasible. And I was fortunate to know people that I trusted, that I like. My Aki went to a colony of Akis with somebody who is obsessed and in love with all of them. And so I knew like, okay, I can survive this. But like, once you get an animal, you get it. I mean, I would trade fish in. It's a little different if you're spawning, breeding things or whatever. But like when you make a commitment, make the commitment. That's how I feel about it.
I've never felt like more of a schmuck than when we had to rehome our cat.
It's painful for that kind of
stuff. It is. It was the worst feeling in the world because I feel like I failed her. You know, we had her for 4 years and she was great. She was a sweetheart. She's actually Ralph, the cat you saw walk in the background earlier. That's his half sister, same dad, different mom. And out of nowhere, she became a totally different cat, started attacking all the animals one by one. It started with one of the other cats, then Ralph, then both the dogs. And we struggled for a year with her, and she was having accidents all over the house. We could not figure out what it was. So I got in touch with the gal I got her from, because she's a Maine Coon. I got her from a breeder. I know adopting is better, but
there's nothing wrong with getting pets from reputable breeders. Don't let people shame you for that. Go ahead.
Okay, deal.
No shame.
So,
no shame.
Yeah, and she was a beautiful, beautiful cat, a sweetheart of a cat to people. But she was terrorizing the shit out of the other animals.
You can't do that. And I trust you. Like, you wouldn't get rid of a cat for no reason.
Absolutely not. And I have never felt worse in my life.
I bet.
Because she was still sweet with me. And she was still sweet with the kids, you know.
But she did the right thing for her overall, because it probably stressed her out.
It did. And now all the animals have much better personalities.
Yeah.
You know, it's been a great change. And she went to a single cat family.
Perfect. There's a difference between that type of a situation and somebody who went out and spent, you know, $400 or $500 on a bearded dragon setup and then went, I'm done. Like, I'm over it. They cost too much to feed. They get too big. Or gets a fish, gets a fish tank and like, you know, lets it go to shit and then gets rid of it, breaks it down, lets the fish die. Like, that's a different situation.
The thing that gets me though is the people who will go to the length to get a nice setup, right? Yeah. Like, so they pay the money to get a nice 75-gallon, they stock it how they're supposed to, but then they just don't give a shit enough to go and research how you're supposed to actually do it. They're just like, you know what? I see fish in the lake. Like, that's cool. I want that in my house. And
people that release their animals,
like, they don't even know about the nitrogen cycle. I'm like, I can't. I cannot
I
handle
stopped interjecting because there was a time when I'd be at a local fish store or somewhere and hear people talking to employees who probably don't know as much as they should. They try, but they don't know everything. No one can. But I would try my hardest to like gently interject or say like, hey, try this out and see how this works. Maybe this would be a better idea. But it gets so frustrating. I'd also have people ask me a lot of questions because I would speak to employees and they knew me and I was there. The owners would talk to me. And so people would ask me questions and I'm like, I don't even feel comfortable giving advice because I already know it's going to fall on deaf ears and you just
like, why would I waste my breath? Yeah. It's so frustrating to me sometimes.
Like, and you're right. They will spend a shit ton of money. Like people have the money to spend. They just don't care about the follow through. Like money means nothing. I know people that don't have a lot of money that keep absolute amazing tanks and take great care of their fish because it's what they prioritize. Yeah. And we're all different. I get it. Like if that's not someone's priority, but still you have to take care of this animal you committed to. That was a rule for me. I got to have 1,000,001 animals growing up, but my mom's like, it's dinner time. Have your animals eaten yet? Because they can't feed themselves. So if you want to eat, then they have to eat first. Like that's how that works. And I got to give it to her. My mom and I don't see eye to eye on a lot of things, but one thing we agree on are animals. And I appreciate that mindset. And that's how it will be with Sadie. Like if you want to, obviously we're going to have animals, but if you want your own, you want something specific, you have to take care of it. That's part of it. And it's a privilege to keep animals. So show how privileged you are to have them and take care of them.
Yeah. I totally agree. And good on your mom. Like
she was really good. My grandma was like that too. That's where she got it from. My grandma was the one with the monkey and like a lamb that lived inside the house and an iguana that would hang on the door and scare the shit out of the Avon lady. Like my grandma would take in any animal that there was. So my mom grew up with like this menagerie. And so I think it made it hard for her when she saw how much I loved animals and how much joy it brought me. She wasn't going to be like, no, you can't have that. And it was expensive then to feed them. Like even back in the day, I know my parents spent a lot because we kept tropical birds too. So we had like everything. Our house was the Amazon. Like it was loud as hell in our house. It was crazy. And not from kids, but from birds. Birds, filters, things crashing into stuff in tanks. Like, that was.
You know what gets me though is like birds are incredibly long-lived. And so like
so long-lived.
I don't know how people like commit to a 40-year long like personal contract.
The problem is even if you have somebody willing to take them, because a lot of times you need to will them to somebody, they need to be, there needs to be a directive, but you have to make sure you have somebody who's willing to do that. What if your kids are like, I hate these birds. Like these birds are the like nemesis of my growing up. I want nothing to do with them. That's a problem. You know, my sister does not like animals nearly as much as I do. Like she didn't even care for dogs until she got her first dog, like the first dog that was hers. She used to say my lizards were stupid when she was a little kid. She's like, I hate your stupid lizards. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like we couldn't be more opposite there. So she was not a fan. Even as an adult, she'd come into my house and be like, I don't even want to go in that room with like everything in it. She's like, I don't even want to be near it. Because I'd ask her to come watch my dog if I needed to go do something, and she would come over and be like, but I'm not feeding them. And I'm like, I know you're not feeding them. Like,
I just need you to watch them.
Just make sure the mammals stay alive and I'll take care of everything else. So, but it's funny because you have to have, for any type of animal that is that long lived, like we had an African gray. An African gray.
Those are so pretty.
I like them. Ours was a dick. Like I just say that because he didn't like me and I was butthurt about it. He loved my mom. He was obsessed with my mom and it made me so angry. I'm like, how dare you not love me the best?
Isn't it the worst though when you have an animal and you like legitimately try to get it to like you and you're just like, it just says, no, no, thank you.
Birds are super particular. Like they really like kind of pick one person. They'll tolerate other people, but they have their person. Like I had a green-cheeked conure. That was my bird. Like he loved me and he would bite everybody else who touched him. And I thought it was hilarious. Like,
didn't that make you feel so loved though?
Oh, you're just like the best. I always say I love clingy, needy animals. They're my favorite. Like the ones that are obsessed with you. That's I need emotionally needy animals. That's what I love.
Yep, exactly.
I do well with that.
They're always good for an ego boost. They're like,
Mhm.
yes, I love that.
Well, even like the short that I posted about my emerald tree skink, he used to sit with me while because I worked from home for like 3 years, and he used to sit with me and refuse to go back in his tank. Like I'd go 3-4 times and go, okay, buddy, I have a meeting. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And he would just sit in my pocket or sit on my, like he'd get behind my neck
in your
and sit
pocket?
there. He
You had a
climbed
pocket
in my freaking pocket one day. I could not make this up. Like it was just one little pocket right here, and he just plopped right in it. And I'm like, oh, stop it! Like this is ridiculous.
I love that.
I felt like a Disney princess in that moment. I was like, this is magical. Like I love this too much. I think that's what gave me my false sense of how animals were supposed to feel about you watching Disney movies growing up. And like, what, we don't all have like an animal that follows us around.
White. I can't just like put my finger out and expect a bird to fall on it. Yeah, no.
That's why my Aki was named Joanna. She was named after Joanna from the Rescuers Down Under, because it was Joanna the Goanna.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's where I got that from, and that was my favorite of all of the animals in any movie, Disney movie. Joanna the Goanna was everything to me.
Is Bob a needy, clingy animal?
Yeah. Yeah.
That just made me chuckle.
He needs to be taken care of too. That's okay. I like that though, remember? Like that's what I need. I need to be needed. Like that's absolutely
I want you to want me.
Yeah. Please need me. Thank you. That's why I learned to be a good cook. That way he can't ever not need me. So there.
Yeah. That's pretty good. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
I like
good
it.
luck finding better food somewhere. Have fun with that.
Go ahead and starve. I don't mind.
Yeah, that's fine. Have cereal. It's fine.
Oh man. Well, speaking of dinner, I think it's about time for me to head out. Y'all are welcome to stay in bed, but I gotta go. So I don't know. How do you feel, Jodi? Do you want me to leave the stream up, or do you want to call it quits? It's an hour and a half. We gave the people
about
30
minutes. Somebody else is on too.
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's right. I mean, I technically have a baby to take care of, but I also have a husband, so it's fine.
Yeah, you have a Bob. It's fine.
Yeah, I was gonna say I wouldn't mind sitting in here for a while. Like I always like to sneak into the reptile room and hang out in here. So
yeah,
whatever y'all want to do, I'm fine with.
All right. Well, I think we'll head out, call it quits, and I'm really glad that you got to come on the stream. Like this has been super fun.
Yeah, this has been great.
An enjoyable conversation.
It's a good time for sure. Thank you for having me. I'm glad you guys are doing it. It's a good thing to do, especially for people who, like I said, I like that you guys care and take care of your animals. And I say most people who hit it hard in the beginning, I'm like, oh, you're gonna get burnt out. But I trust Jodi, especially with you. I feel like you're a lifer. Like you're gonna be all these animals forever.
Yeah. I have a problem. It's a good problem, but I don't.
It's a good problem.
Give up the problem.
It's only a problem if you think it's a problem.
That's
like
right. It's only a problem if somebody is telling you that and they're wrong anyways. So like,
yeah, good point.
It's not the truth.
Good point.
It's not the truth.
All right. Well, we will see you guys next Friday at 5:00. And yeah, stay cool until then.
Thank you guys.
Have a good weekend. Happy Mother's Day to all you mamas.
Oh yeah, happy Mother's Day. I totally
I was like, that's right. I've never
it's your first one. It's okay, Chelsea.
I totally forgot. I'm like, oh, I gotta call my mom, but I'm like, wait a minute. I am a mom. Cool. All right, y'all. Have a good weekend.
Have a good one.
Bye.
See ya.